is there anything else for you as a longtime conductor of surveys and that really stands out from this body of work? Was there something that, what resonates to you where it's like, wow, this is really kind of there's a lot going on here, but what was a singular standout point that surprised you?
Well, can I cheat and have two?
I suppose we have time for that.
Okay. I'll try to go quick, but if we can bring up actually slide number 4, I think it is the next one after this. We can get back to that one if we want. But okay, I'm a sociologist. I've been looking at racial disparities for a lot of years, but I'm also a Minnesotan, and you hope that things have you hear about racism and racial prejudice, and you think, and you do hear definitely about really dramatic and unfortunate. I mean, George Floyd's murder is, things do happen here that are terrible, but parts of all of us, I think, want to imagine that those are isolated incidents. But in the survey, we really wanted to get a hold of, well, what's the real life experience of different racial and ethnic groups in Minnesota? So we asked this question: have you experienced discrimination because of your race or ethnicity by the police in Minnesota? And, we're frankly hoping to see that actually police discrimination is quite rare. But instead, what we found here that you can see on the slide, stunning to me, I guess, as a white guy and with my own experiences here in the state, that over half of all Black and Indigenous adults said that they personally had experienced discrimination, and around a third of all Latinx, Hmong, and other Asian folks in the state, again, personally experiencing discrimination like this. So it's it's not good news. It's depressing news. But it is a reality check, I think, for us all here in Minnesota. And to know, there's been a lot of coverage, for example, of the Black community because of the George Floyd murder. But unfortunately, we see that this is pretty common across communities. If I can jump to one more slide, I think number 6. Yeah. Shows another thing that was a little bit surprising. We wanted to get at different ways of tapping how the feelings of inclusion in the state. And so one of the things we asked about arts and culture, about recreational opportunities. We also asked here about food. Are you able to access food that's culturally relevant to you? And one of the pleasant surprises was that the Hmong respondents to the survey were very basically tied with white respondents in terms of saying it's pretty easy for us to access food that's culturally relevant to us. So that's great for a relatively, the Hmong population makes up, roughly 2% of the state's population. You might think they might have a hard time accessing culturally relevant food, but it's good to see that at least, well over half of the population accesses it fairly easily. On the flip side, the indigenous, the original inhabitants of this area, you would hope that would have lots of opportunity to access culturally relevant whatever, including food. But here we see that's not the case, that the indigenous population was less likely than others to say that they have access to culturally relevant food. So those are just a couple of the questions. There's a lot of interesting, compelling, surprising findings, but those were a couple that have jumped out at me so far. Again, we're not completely done rolling out the findings, but those are some of the findings we've rolled out to date.
Great. Thank you, Craig.